Dave Wasserman from Cook Political Report. Thanks for joining me today to talk a little about the first district race here in Rhode Island, how it looks to somebody who watches races like this all over the country. Let me just start asking you at a high level. You've seen a lot of primaries like this one with in very blue districts. We think the general election's probably a done deal. So you have 5,000 people crowd into the primary. I guess, is there any general rules of thumb with watching this kind of very crowded primary for a safe seat, or are they all, unique in their own way?
Well, anytime you have a really crowded primary for a safe Democratic seat, it's about identity politics and it's about friends and neighbors. And in this case, Rhode Island's never sent a Democratic woman to Congress. And so it's been pretty clear from the start there is a lot of desire on the part of both Democratic voters and strategists to break that barrier. Sabina Matos just got a key endorsement from Emily's List, and that's a big deal because Emily's List wants to ensure that the vote for a woman in this race is not split in so many directions that a man wins the seat. And of course, their goal is to elect as many pro-choice Democratic women as possible. Their donor network is extensive across the country, and particularly when everyone's vying for airtime and debate stage time, it can give a very valuable leg up to get a message out. And so this really, I think, solidifies Matos's initial position as the front runner in the race.
So you look, obviously, you're on the ground here every day, but you've seen some of the reporting here. We know Matos says her internal surveys show all the other candidates in various realms of the single digits, but her team acknowledges they only have her a little over 20% in their poll, and almost half of voters, or upwards over 40%, undecided. In a big field, if you start with 22% and hold on to it, is that probably enough? Is there a path for these others to overtake her? And, how much do you think that could move this summer as we get toward the September 5th primary?
Yeah, we've seen some members of Congress that have gotten elected with less than 20% of the vote in a primary. Now, that's pretty rare, but it's possible that 22% is a winning number for a candidate in a field as fractured as this one. So, look, the Democrats probably going to end up winning the primary with higher than that, but it's still a good place to be at this point in the campaign.
We saw yesterday, just a day before this Emily's List endorsement, we also had the group Elect Democratic Women out of the U.S. House endorsed Matos as well. Is that a sign potentially of kind of some consolidation around her in Washington among the groups that matter? Is that how we should be reading this up here in Rhode Island?
Yeah, there's kind of a snowball effect when one group gets behind a front runner. Everyone else kind of wants to as well to both appear that they got in early, but also to get behind a winner. Now, there are multiple dimensions to this race. There's obviously the barrier breaking one I mentioned. There's the ideological aspect, and Aaron Regenberg is clearly trying to consolidate the progressive lane of the race, but there are others vying for that. And then there's also the geographic lane. Who's best at getting out their immediate community or town to vote? So we'll see.
Final question. If you are one of those other candidates and you're starting off with a front runner, statewide elected official, getting big groups like Emily's List, polling it a little over 20% right now, what do you need to do between now and then? What have you seen in other races really make a difference for a candidate who maybe started out looking like, they were definitely an underdog at this point in a race?
Yeah, the key is really to tell your life story in a way that connects or makes Democrats want to vote for you. And we've seen in years past instances where a candidate can have a prominent statewide office, they can raise an awful lot of money, but they're overtaken by someone who catches fire with the base based on their story and their ads and their ability to connect at a personal level. So just because you have Emily's List endorsement, just because you're a statewide office holder, doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. We'll see what case the other candidates have to make, and there are some pretty interesting life stories in this field.
Dave Wasserman from the Cook Political Report. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
All right. Thanks, Ted.